Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. Over half the year gone. How is everybody doing on this fantastic morning with DJ Jimmy Jazz is what we'll call it, mixing up the tunes on the ones and twos. But good morning and happy Tuesday, everybody. Today we're going to actually be doing a little bit different of a sales meeting. I have Sam joining us so she can kind of discuss how the contest with her social is going. We're going to get to her in just a few minutes. But hopefully everybody got a chance to take a look at Mr. Puma and Jeff's meeting yesterday on Monday. We definitely are seeing a little bit of a shift right in the market right now. And, they really gave some great tools for you to use as an agent to really be able to go out and get some of those opportunities. And I think one of my biggest takeaways, yes, we have a zillion different tools that that are literally just on your tool belt, ready to rock and roll. But I think one of my biggest takeaways when you look at the business, yes, some people have made a fantastic past couple of years. Obviously, with raising price, we're going to have a little bit more. You're going to be making a little bit more commission, but transactions are actually down. So if you want to be able to do what you did last year, you're going to have to make up with those transactions that are, let's say, 25% less. So where are you going to get that business? And yesterday, Puma and Jeff did a fantastic job showing some of those tools that we have out there that can help get you down the right path to get some more opportunities. Now, the great thing with Beggins is not only do we give you the tools, we give you the processes and everything that you need to handle those opportunities that come your way. So you have to play the game. So one of the things we're going to do, if you missed anything the past couple of weeks with some of the next level trainings that we've done around the bulletproof listing process and bulletproof buyer process, when you get those opportunities, what do? That's what we're going to take a look at again today. Right now, Craig is actually in Boca Raton or some fancy, really nice place with a beach where I'm sorry he's listening to some Kenny Chesney, but he's out actually at the 2100 Club, getting recognition for being a top brokerage. And, I give it up to Century 21 for being continuously rocking and rolling, but he's out there getting some fantastic recognition for our brokerage. And then we have a couple other managers out this week also. But again, with the shift in the market, I think it's important to understand, be fantastic at what you do when you do get those opportunities and you're talking to your potential clients that may be out there. Use these processes that we have in place. But before we actually go to the video and take a look, let's go ahead and bring Sam on. She's going to actually give us an update on the social contest that ends today, I believe. I'll let her kind of discuss that and kind of how we're doing on that standpoint. So Sam, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah. So the last day is today. You're correct. We kind of extended it a little bit. It was going to be the month of May, and then people requested extra time. So we let it be until today. And I'm going to do the final tally at the end of the day, but there are quite a few of you who have done all 4 already. And I've got a running list. I got to go through and make sure it's correct. Because I know a lot of people are posting last minute today to make that 4th cut. And so yeah, you'll get an email tomorrow morning probably, just like hey, you made it, here's what's going on, here's how you'll get your ticket. Because I'm working with Susie, and Susie Brush is going to be the one in charge on that end. So yeah, I'll share my screen and show a couple.
As you're actually pulling that up, do I have to give you access or you're good?
Yeah, I think I need access. Nope.
You're good.
Yeah, I can do it.
And I wanted to add real quick to that because I think this ties directly into what Mike and Jeff were talking about yesterday too. Yes, it was a challenge. Yes, it was a contest, but by doing this, it can give you so many opportunities that you may not have before. So getting a little uncomfortable doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Lauren Fleshman, she was messaging me yesterday and she wanted to make sure she could still post her 4th one today. And she said that, after she posted the rental lease to own program info, she had people reaching out to her. And I said, that's the goal. I said, that's what we were trying to do. So, okay, I'm going to continue to share my screen. Let's go. Ooh, that's my email. Okay. So Stevenson's a Sarasota agent, and he kind of wrapped in a couple topics in this video. Let's see. Is my sound
Hey,
playing?
Rizal, out here with another exciting video. Right now, I'm outside on the top deck of Nathan Benson Park on the tower overlooking the lake, and also right behind me, University Town Center Mall, aka UTC Mall, and as well as a new place they just implemented, Pop Stroke, which is Tiger Woods' little mini golf course. And right now, they're exciting Van Gogh exhibit that's also here in the area right now being showcased. Definitely one of the few many things that's exciting about this area right now as it's continuing to grow. As you know, obviously, Florida itself is a premier destination for housing and buying. And as a real estate agent right now, Tampa Bay specifically, the greater Tampa Bay area as well, is also a premier destination for people coming from out of state, around the world. You know, prices have shot up over the last several years now. And honestly, I think they continue to go up here periodically. But right now, there's great opportunity. And
Oops, that's not what I meant to do.
programs that they're offering right now, things such as Ribbon that allows you to present your finance offer into a cash offer to make it more attractive. Obviously trying to compete with other people who are cash buyers, as well as Home Partners, which is a program that allows you to lease out the place of your dreams. And the next year following, if you want to purchase that, you're able to. If not, you can go to a different location.
Right. So he kind of did a market area update. He did local knowledge. He kind of wrapped them all into one. So that counts by all means. He did an awesome job. Yeah, Kat's saying that's her agent. Yeah, so he's in Sarasota. And I'll show you again how I got to this. So if you're on Facebook and you come up here and you just type in C21 Baggins and then go to posts, and you can search recent posts or whatever you want to see the criteria. And this is why we were telling you guys to hashtag C21 Baggins, so they all show up in one place. So that's kind of how hashtags work. And that's kind of the idea behind it. So Bob Dean's posting, Carla Card did a really good job.
Oh yeah, we're about to put it on sale right now, actually. Well, I'm in the market. So tell me about your banana and why I should buy it. Nice try. Okay, y'all, here is how this is going to work.
So if y'all remember the viral Apple video that went a little bit ago, she's recreating it and doing a banana. So her videos are really funny. John Evans got in the game. He started a little bit late, but he's still part of the game. Lana's posting, Andrea DeFilippio and Brandon. So yeah, I mean, come through here and see what everyone else is doing. You can see Jeff and Lederhosen if you want to, because he's in Germany right now. And yeah, so same thing on Instagram. I will go ahead and pull that up real quick. Well, maybe not. If you don't follow us on Instagram, here's our page, C21 Baggins. And again, search the hashtag if it will let me. Okay, well, maybe not. Okay, well, I'm gonna cut it short because Instagram is giving me technical difficulties. Wait, Jimmy, you're muted.
I just like talking to myself.
I saw your mouth moving. I was like, oh God.
I was talking to somebody else. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So I will go through and do the final tally today, and you'll get an email tomorrow morning.
Yep. So today's the last day. Get it done. If you have
Mhm.
not, please get it started. If you need help with it, reach out to Sam. She'll be
Yeah.
able to help you out with that. So thank you for jumping on, Sam.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Last thing I am going to go in before we start the video. Again, this is a video from a couple weeks ago. I wanted to actually give a shout out because I didn't want to miss birthdays. Okay. So I know that since we don't have everybody on the call right now, let's go ahead and shout out some birthdays. So Susie from South Tampa, Matt from Brandon, and Ryan from Apollo Beach, all on June 7th today. Happy birthday. Elaine from South Tampa on June 8th, Jack on June 10th, Carlicia, Janie, Thomas, Cheryl, and Nick, all on June 11th. So happy birthday goes out to all of you. If you have already watched this video, watch it again. The more that you watch it, the more that you practice, the better you're going to be at this process when it comes to the bulletproof listing process. And again, as you're working through and gathering all these new opportunities so you can grow your business and rock it out, you should follow these processes that we have. So without further ado, I guess I need
for us to get the opportunities just because of the conditions of the market around us. So when those things happen and business comes to you, we get a little lazy, and we don't
They
put.
didn't have to price a house. The market priced it.
Yeah.
We just picked a number and then they bid it up to here. We had no idea where it's going to go. That's changed now.
Yep, absolutely.
So anyway.
Sorry,
the
that's a
purpose
little
is
quiet, everybody. I'm going to crank
everyone at
this
our
up a little
church,
bit.
even our pastor's daughter-in-law is a realtor. Yeah. So that old, I'm the realtor in the town, that's not in anymore. So, and out of obligation, your customers are going to choose. They're going to say, well, let's talk to Jeff and Chris and see what they say. And if Jeff fumbles in with, oh yeah, we're good buddies and glad to know you from high school. What do you think you want to sell your house for? That's a presentation that most agents are doing. And if Chris comes in with, hey, let me show you how to run my business. I need to preview your house, go do
Is
this.
that
I do
okay?
My Moxie presentation shows you all my comps, shows my electronic spa with all this fancy stuff that goes on. And then we're asking questions throughout the process, which a sales presentation is really a series of questions. And we've got a listing presentation script that goes through that ties into our pre-qual script, and it all is masterful. So that's what we want to go through today, is the proverbial right way. And hopefully you all will follow the prescription. If you follow it most of the way, it'll be okay. But if you really dedicate the time to learn it the way we're going to show it to you, you're going to nail it every time. And you're not going to have commission objections, and you're going to make a shit ton of money. So that's kind of where we want to go with. So Chris, go ahead.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah, half-assed her all the way.
So just make a commitment to yourself, to your business, to your customers, to your future, that I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to do everything as a professional. I'm going to have a system. I'm going to handle the mobile homes to the $1 million homes, my family, friends, to the people I just met. I'm going to handle them all the same, and they're going to all go into my system. They're going to go through this process. They're all going to have that same experience, not just a transaction, that same experience. And that's what creating this bulletproof listing system is all about. It's about creating an experience that helps you to build your business, but also helps them to have just the most amazing transaction and experience that they've ever had selling their home, which is typically a really stressful time.
It's also easy, right? It's also simple, because if you do the exact same thing every single time, you're going to get damn good at it.
Yes.
Right? And whether it's the mobile home or a $5 million home or a $400,000 condo, same thing. I'm glad you're excited about selling your property. Let me tell you how I run my business. Here's how I like to run it. I'm going to come over and do this, and this. That's the process we're going to go through. You kind of flip the switch on autopilot and just roll. Right? And it's just easy. You don't have to think about anything about what you're going to say now, which we'll touch on in a little bit too. You've got the ability to actually connect, right? Because I'm not occupying my brain with, oh gosh, what am I going to do next? What am I going to say? When do I go? What's the next step? It's natural. It's automatic. It's boom, 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 boom. Right? So I know what I'm going to say. Now I can pay attention to your eye contact. Now I can pay attention to your body language. Now I can pay attention to your vocabulary. Now I can pay attention to you. Now I can build that strong connection, which is really what the sale is all about. And the rest of it is just the logic stack, right? We haven't talked about that in a while, but people buy with emotions and they justify with logic. So when you have your presentation on point, it's logical to buy with you, right? It's logical. There's no reason why not to. You're on point, you're professional, you look good, your everything is just on point, and you're paying attention to me, and you're relating to me according to my personality style, and you're noticing that I'm visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and you're repeating back my vocabulary, my tempo, my eye contact, my breathing patterns, all those things combine to make it just completely bulletproof. So that's what I'm excited about this one, is you just can nail it every single time, because that's where the money is really made. It's the trust, and trust comes from connections.
And just a word of warning, this doesn't come easy. This is going to take effort on your part.
Yep.
Practice, 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 and then it goes. Right. So this is going to be what we call an evergreen video. We're going to send it out to you all when it's done. And the idea is we'll probably integrate some role playing into the offices so we can practice this, maybe do some listing presentations live in front of the group for those of you who want to impress, because this market it's pretty much on the writing. You've seen all the reports from Realtor.com, from Zillow, from the builders. We're going to have a low inventory for a long time, right? It's going to take a couple of years to get out of this mess. Position to attract listings are going to really control the market. And that's where we want to be. So we want you to be bulletproof, strong on this, right? And that's enough of an intro.
Yeah, let's pop on in.
Okay. Chris, we're going to do your screen.
Sure, we can share.
And there we go.
This is basic. This is what we were talking about. A good system shortens the road to the goal. And I would ask you a really quick question. How many of you, when you got up this morning, are standing right where you're at? How many of you have your pants on backwards? None of us. Well, Craig, you got to wear pants first. None of us have our pants on backwards because we have a system. It's a simple system for putting our pants on, and we end up putting our pants on the same leg first every single morning. We end up and our pants are on and we walk out of the house and everything's good. But when you first start off with that system, it's not always easy. I always equate it to my 4-year-old. I see him putting his pants on. He came out with his pants on backwards the other morning because he doesn't have that system down yet. So just understand, this is not a simple process. It's simple. It's just not always easy because you have to make the commitment. So it's about creating a system through that process so that it's as easy as putting your pants on when someone says, I want to list my house. So that's great. Here's how I handle my business. And we walk through all those steps.
And be ready to say no, right? Which is
I'm not wearing pants today.
Yeah. Pants are overrated, right? But to the point where when you go through this process, you're going to have the flexibility and freedom to not work with them. Because what you're going to find is that's many times is going to be your best choice. Because if it's going to pull you off of your system, it's going to destroy your business.
But let me add to, it's not that you're not going to work with them. You're not going to work with them now, right? To make a full on listing presentation to somebody who's not ready to sell yet is a waste of time.
Correct.
But you can't throw that person away. They're going to go into your CRM with reminders and notes to make follow-up. So when they are ready, you're there for them. Because if not, they're going to run into another realtor at the grocery store 2 months from now, and they're going to list with them. So this is part of a salesman's job.
The other point of that, though, is that if I say, let me show you how I run my business, I want to come over and take a look at your house. I want to go do the preview. I want to look at do my comps. No, give me my price right now. What would you list my house? How much price per square foot? Give it to me right now. Don't come look at my house. Tell me what's going on. Peace out. I'm not dealing with you. That's not the type of business I run. That's not the aggravation I want in my life. I'm not working with you. Right? You're going to have the flexibility to do that also when they don't fall into your program. Right? Try to call your doctors and say, no, I'm not going to wait till next Wednesday. I'm coming in today at 11. Damn it. Right? You're not going to be seen by that doctor because he has a system and he has a process and he's a professional.
And you'll be escorted out of the building.
That's right. That's right. So let's look at this. So seller versus thinker. And to me, I think this is really, really important because they look so similar. And it's a trained eye that can tell the difference, right? Between somebody who's thinking about selling and somebody who's actually really selling. And so these are the 3 questions. I wish we could tattoo them on your forehead backwards so you see it constantly when you look into the mirror. They have to answer yes to these. Do they have to sell their home? Right? That's pretty cut and dry. And if it's a yes or no, I kind of want to is not a have to, right? No, but if we get this price, we would. That's not a have to, right? So that's going to come up to a decision tree for yourself. This is what we want. We want a seller who has to sell their home. They know where they're moving to, and they have a time frame where they need to be. Right? These are 3 really important things, guys. And you have to be honest with yourself to know that if the answer is not yes to these ones, to Craig's point, that doesn't mean you're flushing them down the toilet. It means they're not ready yet. And
it doesn't mean that you're not putting their home on the market either. It just means that you do not have a seller and you're not counting that as one of your closed deals this quarter because this is not an actual seller who has to sell with all of these 3 things.
Absolutely.
So I got a job transfer. I have to move to Jacksonville and my job starts August 1st.
Absolutely.
That's a real seller.
Yep.
If I can get $1.6 million for my house, I could move to the Keys or I could move to the Bahamas, or I could go to the East Coast. It doesn't matter. I don't have a hurry. If it happens, it happens. Doesn't. That's not a motivated seller. That's not a seller. That's a thinker, right? And you're going to be in a position where some thinkers are going to say, hey, Let's try it. And to Chris's point, that's okay.
Especially in this market, you're going to have a lot of, let's try it. I want to get this number for my house. And where are you going to move to? We're not sure yet. I don't know. We could probably just rent. I can move in with somebody else. But if we can get that number, it would make a world of difference in my family if I could get that number and put that kind of cash in my pocket. I don't know where we'll go or what we'll do, and there's no real time frame, but we'd be really great if we can make that kind of money. They're not necessarily a seller, but it doesn't mean you have to flush them down the toilet and not help them with that opportunity to make that kind of difference in their life. And these are where you start to have to make these decisions. You just have to determine, is it a seller or is it a thinker? And then you determine whether you're going to work with them or not. So do they have to sell is one of the first questions, like Jeff was saying. Do you have to sell? Do you need to sell because you have a relocation? You're actually about to go into foreclosure. You can't make your payments. You had a job transfer. You're getting divorced. You're getting married. You're having kids. Do you have to sell your home? And after that question, the next one is, do you know what are you going to do when you sell this home? Where are you going to go? Do you know where you're going to move to yet?
Are you qualified to buy it? Come on, guys, we're risking people's lives here. Interest rates have jumped into the 5s. They've got a 3% mortgage now. I would have them get qualified with a mortgage broker before they put their house on the market so they know what they can afford to pay for their next house. Right? What if they say, oh, sugar, I'm gonna sell this one for $450, but I can only qualify for $300? It might change their mind. And I don't want you to go through the work of putting it on the market just to cancel and take it off the market. We're not in the business of charging cancellation fees, right? We don't want to do the effort if it's not a serious seller, and you shouldn't want to either. So these are just steps we want you to take them through because you are the leader. You are the real estate professional guidance person.
So this process we're going through right now is for when they qualify, they answer all these 3 questions, they say yes. And now we go through the process. So, oh, you're thinking about selling your house, or you want to sell your house, or you decided to sell your home. Good. Let me explain to you how I run my business. This is how we roll. So let's click
Next
on
slide.
7 P's. Let's go through them, Craig. We had 6, but we graduated to 7 last night when me, Chris, and Craig were chatting about this.
Yes. Okay, I'll take number 1. So it's practice. And I said it earlier. You can't just, we practiced last night this presentation for you, right? Because we know what the next slide's going to be. We don't have to think about it. We got our parts and roles. So you have to build into your schedule, your Google Calendar, some practice time. And it can be by yourself. It can be with a role play buddy. It can be by Zoom. It can just be sitting there reading the scripts. But we're going to give you 2 really important scripts here. One is the listing pre-qual script, and one is the listing presentation script. Both of those should become second nature to you. I mean, Jeff, you can read the listing presentation without it even on your desk. Hi, thanks for having me over tonight. This meeting will take between 5 and 25 minutes. We have a seat at the kitchen table. Thanks. Hey, I wrote down 3 real important questions for you. Number 1, do you absolutely have to sell your property? Number 2, right? So you have to have that down, and it takes practice to do it. And you have to have the discipline to make it a priority to do this, or the rest of the system's going to fall apart because you're going to go and stuttering. Oh shit, what do I say next? Oh God, what's next? And you all have these fears about walking in with notes, which is a stupid fear because most presentation people have notes with them when they come. So you can bring your script with you, but still you'll feel more comfortable if you've internalized it on the inside.
And let's call out the obvious on this one too. If you're not practicing, you're not a professional.
Correct.
Right? It's the amateur versus professional, right? Amateurs don't get paid. They play around, right? Professionals get paid, but they practice. So that's why they're good, right? So if this truly is your skill, if this is your trade, if this is your career, you have to practice. How could you even expect to not be amazing, if you didn't practice? So you have to practice, but practice right and practice the same thing over and over. So it becomes second nature, right? Because you can't practice winging it, right? You can't do one presentation one way, the next one a different way, the next one a different way. You could, I guess, but it's not going to be consistent. It's not going to be professional, and you're not going to be able to stay on point with the connecting with your clients. So that's why practice is hugely important.
Sure. So walking quickly through the 7 P's, and we'll jump into each one individually. The practice, prospect with persistent follow-up, that's your baseline. That's you setting the tone, setting your schedule. We'll talk about those in a second. But the minute that I find someone after practicing and then prospecting for them, finding somebody and then having to follow up with them regularly, it's going to jump into, this is how I handle my business. Wonderful. I'm so happy that you want to sell your home. I'd be happy to help you out. This is how I handle my business. First, I'm going to need to ask you a few questions. Next, I'm going to need to come by and take a look at your property because I really can't properly price it until I get my hands, eyes, ears, and really feel it, what that property is. I'll come back. I'll do some research on my own. I'll step back into your home. We'll present all of our findings with everything that we have. And then we can talk about positioning it on the market to put as much money in your pocket as possible. So that's the general flow of what that is. But if you're not taking control of the conversation when they say that they need to sell their home after you've gone through the practice and the prospect, if you're not taking control of that conversation, you are automatically giving some of your power away and letting them handle it. Tell me how much my home is worth. Tell me that. I don't need you to do that. Like Jeff was saying earlier, I just want to know what it's worth. It's really simple. Don't waste your time doing this, that, and the other. Fortunately, this is how I handle my business. And I really love to give you the best experience. So let me tell you how this will work. So that's the general flow of it. And then once we get into it, like you were just talking about, practicing. So Jeff, what are some of the most important things that you would say for practicing? If you were talking to somebody and they were trying to get ready, to be ready, what are some of the most important things for them?
I'll make it really simple. You have to learn the words. You've got to get the words out of the way. You have to, or else you will never be successful in this business. I'm going to say it point blank like that. You will not be successful unless you have your words internalized for your presentation. It's impossible, because when you don't have them internalized and you don't know your skill, you don't know what you're going to say, you're constantly focusing on what you're going to say, which means you therefore cannot focus on your customer. And when you cannot focus on your customer, you don't get the deal. That's it. Flat out, that's it. Because all these things on this list right here are irrelevant if you're thinking about what you're going to say next. You can't pay attention to mirror and matching connections. You can't go into neutral. You can't even focus over their DISC personalities of their VAK representational systems, because you're thinking about what are you going to say next. It's impossible. And that's right there, Chris, is why that's the difference between those who do well and those who don't. It's that cut and dry. It's that black and white.
That's the basis of it. I mean, this is not necessarily the real estate business. That's our secondary job. Our primary job is people and communications.
Yep.
People will do business with you if they like you, if they know you, and if they trust you. And the only way that they're going to like you, know you, and trust you is if you're able to build some type of connection with them, build rapport with them. You have to get in line with them, in congruency with them in some ways, shapes, or forms. And here on this page is a bunch of the lists of those things that you can really focus on. I mean, mirror and matching with somebody. You can do that in person, on the phone. And we have this really cool tool that we're using right now to talk to you and connect with you called Zoom to help mirror and match with people. So you can hop on a Zoom call with them. I hear people say that all the time. I don't like the phone. I don't like talking to them on a phone. I like to be face to face. I like to be able to see them. Well, hop on a Zoom call. That's a really easy way you can start mirror and matching with them. Then those start to create more connections. But before you start doing that, neutral, you've heard Jeff talk about this all the time. Pop it into neutral. I don't like anything. I'm just going to go completely blank. No facial expressions, no tonality, no any of that. I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to be very neutral with my whole approach. And I'm going to see what you give me. And then whatever you give me, I'm going to give it right back to you. But you can only do that if, like what Jeff said, if you know the words that you're going to say next, because you've practiced the script so many times that you know what happens. It doesn't matter what objection comes, what they ask, what they say, if they throw you off track. I know what the next thing is because I've practiced my script. Now I can really focus on the individual. I can focus on if they're making eye contact with me all completely and they're really into it, or if they're really focused on the numbers, or if they're more of a C personality who's really kind of just a little bit held back and asking questions and they're not really connecting with me. I could really focus on that individual more than I am focusing on the words and what I'm going to say next.
Chris, let me comment on that, because we're talking about some advanced stuff that some of our newer people don't understand. So I want you all to know you can go to the Next Level Resource Center at c21beggins.teachable.com, and it will give you, you'll see classes on DISC, you'll see classes on VAK, you'll see classes on the NLP touches that we're talking about. So this class today is not going to teach you how to do these things. You're going to have to go in the Resource Center and take the classes on those, but they're there for the taking, right? So if we're over your head, just know the resources are there. Check with your manager, will point you in the right direction.
right? And going through a couple of just these bullet points, the 73855, we're not going to go deep in today, but that's just drives this point home.
That's my favorite thing.
7% of communication is words. That's it, right? That's it. That's words. It's the words that come out of your face, right? The rest of it is the 38% is the tonality. It's how the words sound as they're flying out of your face. And 55 is the body language, it's how you're looking, how you're feeling, how you're moving. And that's how communication really happens. So only 7% is the words.
Yeah, watch this. That damn dog. That damn dog. 3 words. Just the words. That damn dog. That damn dog. I love her so much. Right? That damn dog shit on my carpet. Same words, right? That damn dog. But words only, words with tonality, and then words with body language mixed in. Same word.
Great example. For example, you want to sell your home, right? All the things come in, which goes into the upswings, and it's the tonality and how you sound. But you can't tweak how you sound unless you know how you sound. And if you're making up things as you go, there's no way to know consistently what you're going to say. So there's no way to know how you sound, right? So you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're never going to be good. You're never going to have money. You're never going to be wealthy. You're never going to get ahead of the game unless you have your words internalized, right? That's it. You can't repeat and approve because you're going to be thinking about what you're saying next rather than listening to what they're about to say so you can internalize it, regurgitate it, and shoot it back. That's repeating and approving. But you can't. It's impossible. Our brain cannot do it. You cannot listen, repeat, and approve if you're thinking about what you're going to say next. It's impossible, right? So why would you even try to aggravate yourself? Why? It doesn't make any sense. So the next point is record yourself. The best thing I did, and I still do it, right? I record myself. I record myself a lot. Yeah, it's a lot easier now. Holding on to our little things right here. Record yourself. Record your listing presentations that you're going on. Record your practice sessions that you're going on. Put your video camera up. Record yourself in your own Zoom room, right? And Zoom to yourself and then watch that back and critique it, right? You have all the tools. They're free. They're sitting right there. But for you to not know what you look like and what you sound like is irresponsible, and it's going to destroy your business, right? So imagine saying, okay, this is going to be my process. This is going to be my script. Let me learn it. I hate scripts. That's not me. I want to be me. Good. Be you and be broke. Okay. I want you to be damn good. Now your you is going to come out of your script as your script is internalized. So we're never going to make you a robot because robots aren't rich anyway, right? What we want to make you is consistent and good, right? And great. So you can focus on connecting with people and easy. You have to. So if you haven't been recording yourself, start. There's no excuse not to. And that's the best way to get feedback. You bring it to your manager, send it to me. I'll watch it. I'll critique you, right? Our job, guys, is to lift you up, right? To make you better, to take you to the next level in your life. Whatever your level is, there's a next one, right? And our job is to hold your hand, pull you up, push you, right? Kick your butt, pat you on the back, whatever we need to get you up to that next level. But we can't do everything for you. You have to do this point yourself. You've got to practice. You've got to record yourself, and we've got to see where you're screwing up. Because if we listen and we say, oh, listen to that upswing, look, okay, now we can tweak you. Now we can make you better. Now your next presentation, you're 10% better. The next one, you're 5% better. The next one, you're 20% better. Next one, you're 50% better. Now you're just a machine. And we can parachute you into any listing presentation. You can say, great, thanks for having me over, guys. Let's go have a seat at the kitchen table. I've got 3 questions for you, right? And now you just, anytime, anywhere, anyone, you'll win. That's the importance of this.
Jeff, I'm glad you brought that up because Puma and I are working on 3 different listing sources right now, which are promising to deliver us 2 to 4 listing presentations a week. And we are honestly afraid who to give these appointments to because we don't know who gives a good listing presentation. Right? So there's going to be lots of opportunities for those of you who master this presentation the way we want it done. We can feed you listing appointments, but we're not going to give them to you if you're going to go blah, 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 because many times you're competing. You know, on our corporate reload team, when we get a corporate listing for a relocation client, we have to interview, the customer is forced to interview 2 different agents. And we win most of the time, right? Because we're practiced, and that's a specialty skill.
What's CANI, Chris?
Constant and never-ending improvement.
It was Dad's boat.
it's the only thing that you should ever be comparing yourself. Don't compare yourself to everybody else. Don't compare yourself to the next person or even the person that you're competing with against for a listing. The only person you should ever be competing against or comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Am I better than I was yesterday? Can I be a little better than I was yesterday? And for those of you saying that I don't like scripts, or I can't do this way, or I don't really follow a system, trust me, if you're telling me any of those things, you are following a system and you are following a script, and it's not anything that's going to help you improve and get better and end up putting more money in your pocket. You are definitely following some type of routine and script and process when you go on a listing presentation. And if it's not this, it's not going to help you constantly be better with constant and never-ending improvement. So get a system, learn the scripts, go through the processes, practice every single day, always try and be a little better than you were yesterday. It's the power of one more. It's just, I'm just going to be one more step better than I was yesterday, one step further than I was yesterday, and that's progress. And as long as you're making progress, we all feel happy. We all feel like we're doing something. We all feel better. We all feel like we're accomplishing something. So that constant and never-ending improvement, just apply that to your business with all these simple steps.
Love it. And that's just one of our P's. We got more for you guys.
But this is the first one, and it's first for a reason.
Yes, that's right.
Because number two doesn't make sense, because you're not going to have the confidence to go out and talk to strangers if you're not confident, right, about what you're going to say. So the purpose of practice is to get confident so that you can be competent in the field when you're really trying to get the business. So number two is prospect. Oh, that damn P word, really?
Prospect. So we were down, we're not going deep into this today. We're just going into reminders that you got to pick a lane.
But once again, the Resource Center has classes on Remind for looking for absentee owners, has classes on farming, everything the same way we do it. So the resources are there for you. We're just not going to hit them today.
And in Beggins Agents, you actually have a drop down that says pick your lane.
Yeah.
And you can go into absentee owners, you can go into sphere of influence, you can go into all types of different niches. And we have individual classes designed on those specific niches right in there. So whichever way you want to be, that's it.
Right.
The line is the next one. How many rabbits can you chase? Right? One, if you want to actually catch one, or else you'll just be running around in circles. Right? Zero, laser focus in on what your goal is and say, I'm going to become the listing master in X. Whatever X decides to be for you is perfect. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you like. It could be waterfront homes, it could be startup homes, it could be move up homes, it could be retirement homes, it could be duplexes, it could be apartment buildings, it could be fish farms, it could be, doesn't matter, right? Is pick one, because you can't go after everything. You go pick one at a time and get good at one. If you're great at that one, stay there. If you want to do something else later, do something else later. But you got to zero in and focus on something and say, I'm going to call 100 absentee owners this week, period, end of story. That's what I'm going to do. No other thing is going to enter my process. Nothing's else going to get on my calendar. That's what I'm going to go do. And I'm going to do that until I have my outcome. My outcome is one solid listing appointment a week. One. Not two, not six, one. But what's a really good listing appointment, Chris? What would qualify one real appointment?
One real appointment, somebody who has to sell, somebody who has a dedicated place that they have to go and a timeline in which they have to be there.
There you go. Now, here's the danger. I know most of you watching have people that are thinking about selling their home, and you have potential listings coming in the future. That's not what we're talking about. Right? We're talking about deliberate, focused actions, activities in one lane to talk to people you do not know. Maybe those of you do know if you're picking that as your sphere, but deliberate actions to find out who has to sell, knows where they're moving, has a time frame to be there. I need one of you this week, and I'm going to find you this week, and I'm going to go do that. I'm not going to be reactively hoping somebody calls me. My ass is getting out there, banging doors, making phone calls, shooting texts, making posts, DMing, whatever it takes, whatever lane I chose, but I'm going to keep going until I have one solid appointment with somebody who has to sell, knows where they're going, and has a time frame. Not one of those three, not two of those three of those three. I'm going to find one. If I don't find them today, guess what? I'm doing it tomorrow. If I don't find it tomorrow, I'm doing it the next day. Don't find it the next day, I'm doing it the next day. Don't find it the next day, I'm doing it. If I didn't do it in half an hour, I'm going to work for an hour. I didn't get it in 2 hours, I'm gonna work for 4 hours. I'm gonna go until I find one solid appointment this week, because when I do, I'm gonna make great income to fuel my goals and take care of my family. One. And if
And
you,
what's-
that's it.
What's the big takeaway from that I get out of it for hearing you talk like that is focus, energy, and intention. Do you think that Jeff had all three of those things with everything that he just lined up for you? He said, he goes, do I want to chase rabbits? Do I want to chase how many rabbits? Which rabbit? That rabbit? No, I'm going to chase this rabbit, and I'm going to make sure I get that rabbit to get one of you a week. It's going to be one of you. I know it's going to be. You're going to be sitting down. We're going to be talking about listing your home. If you list your home, that's great. If you don't, that's great just as well, because there's another one right behind you. It's a focus, a clear, concise focus on what you want, the outcome that you want, the goal that you're after, with energy into it, not just sitting there, I'm looking for another seller, I'm hoping to get somebody, and an intention that the outcome is already there and you're going to get it, but you got to show up with that kind of focus, energy, and intention to get the outcome. That's what all of this is predicated on before you even pick up that phone. If you can say, this is the lane I'm going to go, these are the actions I'm going to take, these are the times I'm going to do it, these are the days I'm going to do it, this is how many calls I'm going to make, this is how many people I'm going to talk to, and this is how many appointments I'm going to get this week. And if I get my appointments by Wednesday of this week and I decide I want to take the rest of the week off, I'll do that. But if not, because the momentum is moving, I'll keep calling and get another one. But you have to have that kind of focus, energy, and intention put out before you even pick up that phone.
And one last thing to add about that real quick, Craig, is commitment, right? The difference, and Puma talks about this all the time. Are you interested in getting one appointment a week, or are you committed to getting one appointment a week? Because if you're committed to getting one appointment a week, you don't end your week until you get one appointment, right? If you've got to call 5,000 people, you got to call 5,000 people. It is what it is, because you're committed to finding one, right? And that's your commitment to yourself and to your family and to your future, right? And that's the big difference, guys. That's the separator from the top agent, top producers to people who aren't yet, is the commitment that I will get a listing this week, no matter what. By Friday, I will have a new piece of inventory hitting the market for this weekend, and I'm going to go do that. And they do it, and they work until they get it, and they exhaust one list, they go to another one, they go to another one, they go to another one. So are you committed is the question I wanted to make.
And you're doing this in other parts of your life as well. We've all had the instance where we've had a family member that needed some extra money and we didn't have the extra money, but somehow we found a way to come up with it because we got really committed. We got really focused. We had a real strong, solid intention that it had to happen. And we're just asking you to just understand that everything that you're trying to create and everything you're trying to connect with is already inside of you. You just have to make that decision that this is the person that you're going to be. This is how I'm going to show up. This is what I'm going to do. This is the outcome. And I am committed to it.
And I think one of the biggest challenges is you are your own boss, right? We're independent contractor. We're not your bosses, right? If I was your boss, I would say you need to talk to 30 people today or you're fired and you don't get a paycheck. But you don't have that leverage on you. You can just escape it, right? So it's kind of needs you to split your personality. One is the boss. Would you hire you and pay you a salary to do this job? Like Jeff, we've got a girl in the Philippines. She has to make 200 contacts a day or she doesn't get paid.
Right.
Right. Every day at the end of the day, I get a report that says how many attempts she made and how many people said yes and how many people said no and how many people said F off and all that. But every day at 5:30, there's a report in my inbox that says, this is what I accomplished today. So she's reporting to a boss. Who are you reporting to? We'll hold you accountable, but we're not writing you a check. And we're not going to punish you if you don't do it, right? Unless you give us permission to.
I think these first two steps are the ones that we really have to focus on as agents coming into a market, whether the market stays the way it is, and whether the market starts to shift, no matter who's the president, no matter what's going on with the economy, you have to be practicing as a professional and you have to be prospecting for those opportunities with that kind of energy and intention. If you're doing those things, that's the only way you're going to create the opportunities to go into steps 3 through 7. if you don't do these things regularly and you don't become good at them as a professional, you're not going to create the next opportunities to show up and set this. This is how I handle my business. Here's the next step. So these are the ones that most of us really need to focus on so that we can get really good at becoming a professional sales associate.
And I don't want to use scare tactics, but what if your neighbor comes in and takes this approach and they focus and they practice and they prospect and you're not? Right? There's a lot of competition out there. I mean, we've got 1.5 million members in NAR right now. We were down to 700,000 members. So we've doubled NAR's membership. And most of them are in Florida. Right? And they're like little ants picking off the little bait and getting one deal here and there because nobody's rising to the occasion. Jeff, you and I've talked about this a lot. A new agent can come into any market and take it over inside of 6 months if they do the things that we talk about doing.
No question about it. And
Right.
so can you.
And so can you. So you're now a new agent starting over. Here it is, May 25th. You're starting over. Today's a new day. You have 6 months to take over whatever you want and you can do it when you have your practice and your prospecting skills honed in, because nobody else is doing this stuff. That's not true. One of the lead sources Mike and I are talking to, any agent that signs up for this program has to log in at 8:30 every morning and do script practice for seller objections if they want to get these listing leads. How many agents in our company would want to do that? You have to log in 5 days a week at 8:30 to do the active video on role playing seller objections if they're going to give you their listing leads.
That's right.
It's almost like you have a job.
Yeah. But they're also making $200,000 a year, which is more than most doctors make.
You know what quote just popped into my head, Craig, is one we haven't used in a long time is I do today what others won't. So tomorrow I can do what others can't.
Yeah.
And I love that one. And it's always on my mind for that one. But that's really the case, guys. What we're talking about isn't always sexy and fun, right? It's not. It's work, right? To go bang out 50 phone calls in the next couple hours, it's not glamorous, but it certainly creates income to do really cool stuff, right? And that's your job. That's the whole thing. You need a doctor like walking into room after room staring at people's ears? No, but he likes his paychecks.
Hey, bud. I always like to use the Jimmy Buffett example.
Yeah.
Right? Friggin' how many do you think he's excited about walking on stage singing, playing Margaritaville?
Every single show,
Every single
five
show.
nights a week, sometimes 2 and 3 shows in a day.
But look at what Margaritaville has become. A housing resort, housing communities, short-term rentals, restaurants,
$1 billion enterprise for him for easy right now.
billion-dollar enterprise.
So
But
yeah,
you got to do the boring things till the boring things lead to results that are exciting. So playing Margaritaville is boring, but he did it so many times it became pretty damn exciting.
and then here's the secret. You've got to do this until you don't. Right?
Right.
That's the reality of it. You got to do this until you don't, because there's a point in your career where you've done this enough that people will start calling you, and you'll be so known in your neighborhood that people will be calling you. But you got to do this to get to that point. And even when you're on that point, if you want a next level, you still got to do it in another neighborhood until they become known to you and they start calling you too. Right? So it's simple. So this is the job, guys. This is it. It works. And P3 here, we've pretty nailed this one already. And it's really pre-qualify them. And we'll hit the script, right? The pre-qualifying script. But guys, the key about pre-qualifying is about, do they qualify for you? Right? And that's a different mindset on this one. Are you the type of client I want? Right? And that's a strong statement, right? Because when you're attached to the outcome, that's a big issue. But when you're prospecting, you have a pipeline. And when you have a pipeline, you don't have to be attached to the outcome. If there's one listing and the guy's a jerk and they won't be realistic on pricing, why do you want that aggravation in your life? Why do you want to work with somebody like that? You will when you don't have anything else. You have no choice because you need money and you're going to take that deal. But when you have 4 other appointments stacked up at the end of this week, you're okay to refer that one to somebody else who's not prospecting and still taking half their check, right? That's the difference. This is the mindset on this one, is, do you qualify to be my client, right? And my clients answer my questions in my order, and they have urgency, and I like them. Now, I have skill, you guys all have skill to realize that we can adjust to connect with anybody, really, no matter what the personality is, no matter what the representational system is. But it's also interesting to be able to not have to do that if you don't want to. Right? I could deal with a jerk who's super crazy analytical, and it would aggravate the crap out of me. I could do it if I needed the cash, and I can make that guy write me a great testimonial at the end, but I might not enjoy that process. But if I have a pipeline, I don't have to. You guys see the magic in that? The magic is having options, and you don't have options until you have a pipeline. You don't have a pipeline until you prospect, and you can't prospect until you practice.
And when you have options, then sometimes you start to challenge yourself. You start to say, I'm going to go after that C personality that I typically don't connect with. And I'm going to see how well my skills are developing so I can go and I can earn his business and I can show him and give him that opportunity. That's when that constant and never ending improvement kicks in and you go, I'm going to take it to the next level. So these 3 questions here is all that the pre-qualification is really trying to get to. It's trying to understand what the seller's motivation is, trying to understand, do they have to sell? And do they know where they're going to? Do they have do they have a specific place they're going to go in a dedicated time frame that they have to be there? And if you want, I'm going to pull up the resource center really quick so that we can show that inside. This is inside the Bulletproof listing process. Inside the Next Level Resource Center, you've got your Bulletproof listing process where all of this is in more in depth. And you're going to go through your practice, your prospect, and your pre-qualify. And that's what we're doing here. We're going through this process to get them to the point of, wrong one, here you go, asking these questions to understand where they're at in this process. Are they a seller? Are they someone who has to sell? Where are you? Why are you selling? Where are you moving to? How soon do you have to be there? All of those questions are going to be in here. And when you set that tone and you ask them, hey, so I'm really happy you have to sell your home, or I'd love to really talk with you about that more. Here's how I handle my business. I've got a few questions I'd like to ask you, and you go through the whole P process. When's a good time that we can schedule to go over these questions? And you sit down, can we do it now? It'll only take about 5 minutes, or would you like to do this later this evening when you have a little more time? We could do it at 6 p.m. tonight. And you sit down and you follow.
Do it on Zoom. You can do it in person.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
I'd like to hop over into my Zoom room, so I'll send you a link really quick, or can we do it later this evening at 6 p.m. Once you get out of work, we can talk a little bit more then. I just have a few important questions I'd like to go over with you, and then we'll talk about scheduling some time to come see your home. But you have this script and you have this whole process that's right here for you for the listing pre-qualification, trying to get to the point of knowing, do I have a seller? Or are they just a thinker? Are they just hoping to get something out of it? Or do they have to sell? And is this somebody that I can count in my pipeline as an opportunity that I'm going to show up as one of my appointments, that I have an opportunity to put it on the market and count this as a sale?
And once again, Chris, I just want to interject. A lot of people are new to real estate sales. And just trust me, sales is nothing more than asking questions. Everybody thinks sales is demonstrating product. It's not. Sales is asking questions that lead the customer down a path to a successful outcome. So look at some of these questions. When would be the ideal date to close and move? How soon do you have to be there? What's your reason for moving? Why do you feel what do you feel the approximate value of your home is? Will your plans change if you can't get your price? Have you already found? Now this is important, because if I just read questions, it sounds like a what? Jeff?
Script.
Interrogation. Where were you the night of Friday the 15th? Where were you at 10 o'clock? Blah, blah, blah. That's not this, right? So this is where you have to get the skills of listening. And then we had on a previous slide, repeat and approve. Are you interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling your home? No, I'm not. Oh, you're not? Fantastic, right? Pause, break, insert some stoppage. Next question. Will all of the decision makers be at our meeting? Oh, they will. Perfect. I'm gonna make sure I have enough information for everybody present, right? You're gonna put some pauses in there so it doesn't become, this is a flashlight in my hand, it doesn't become an interrogation where I'm just drilling you question after question after question. So understand that that's not what this is. Because if you don't do it with skill, it becomes an interrogation and it's not comfortable. And they're going to kick your ass right out of the room.
And this is not your opportunity to go on long-winded rants or discussions or tell them about the market and this is what's happening and I can't believe this and that. Did you see? This is just an opportunity to ask the question and get an answer, repeat and approve. Use this opportunity to connect. I don't care what any of these answers are, and I don't have an opinion on any of them. My job is to ask the questions, to get the answers, and find a way that I can connect a little bit more with them, understanding them, because we're going to use these in more of the scripts later in the process. We're going to repeat them back to them so that we can show that I paid attention, I listened to you, I understand you, you can trust me because I said I was going to do something and I did it and I followed through and I paid attention and listened.
So to make that point just a little stronger, you can't follow this system if you skip this step. Because if you skip this step, you can't go to the listing presentation because the beginning of the listing presentation says, oh, so just to confirm, you said you're moving to Miami, right? With something called a head nod, which you'll learn from Jeff. And you said you have to be there by August, right? Yes. And you're repeating the answers they gave you here. So if you don't have the answers to these questions, you can't do the listing presentation. So you can't skip this step, or you have to skip the presentation part. And then you go, boo, 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 and you lose to Coldwell Banker, who's trained better than you. Or it's just an idiot competition and they pick the idiot they like best. Not that you're an idiot, of course.
They really choose the person they like most.
Mhm.
Right? And they know we're good at what we do. They know Century 21 is an amazing company. They probably know Baggins is a great company. They know that you're a good person. Now it's just about not blowing it. And the only way to not blow it is to follow the exact system. So you look like a professional who knows what you're doing. You're handling the largest financial transaction in their life, guys. You can't wing it. It's just not fair, right? And it's annoying and it's frustrating and it's more work to wing it. So this is, boom, let's just go into autopilot. So these are the questions you don't have to internalize. You should, but you don't have to because you can read right off them saying, hey, Chris, are you going to be more than an agent? Oh, you are? Great. Who? Oh, John with Remax. Fantastic. Good. Hey, well, all the decision makers be at our meeting. Oh, good. Okay. So there's 2 people. Great. I want to make sure I bring enough information for everybody. And where are you moving to? Chicago? Oh, fantastic. What's the ideal date to move? I promise you, whoever you're competing with is not doing this, right? Which automatically takes you to the next level of professionalism and lets you win, right? That's why we do this, guys. It's a competition. It's a game, and we like to win. That's why we're in this business, right? To win, because when we win, we get goals, we get stuff, we get income, and income creates good opportunities. But so just backtrack it and follow the process all the way. So there's a
All righty. So that is going to be sum it up for today. Let you go a few minutes early. Obviously, some great information. If you have not had an opportunity to sit in on this class a couple weeks ago, get a chance to finish this. Tomorrow, we will do part 2 of the listing process so we can finish up through that. Go back into your email from last week from Angelique, and she will have both the listing process and the buyer process, and it's full-blown video for you that you can take a look at. Hopefully you got a lot out of today. Thank you for everybody who jumped on board. Have a fantastic Tuesday, June the 7th.